कीस्टोन फाउंडेशन का कैलेंडर है इस साल की, तो इसमें से ना हमारे जो लैंडस्केप्स हैं इस पे फोकस्ड है, इसलिए मैंने लाया है। तो ये जो मैंने बोला था नीलगिरी, तो आप लोग सुने होंगे नीलगिरी तेल तो सुना होगा। एक्चुअली दैट इज़ नॉट आवर प्लांट, यूकेलिप्टस है, दो यू ऑल कॉल इट नीलगिरी, वहाँ पे होता है। तो नीलगिरी एक पहाड़ है, वहाँ पे एक नीलगिरी बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व एरिया करके एक जगह लैंडस्केप है, जो इंडिया का पहला बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व है। करीब 6000 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर बड़ा लैंडस्केप है। उसमें कुछ उस लैंडस्केप के कुछ भाग तमिलनाडु में है और थोड़ा सा कर्नाटक और केरल, तो ये इन 3 स्टेटों के बीच में है ये जंगल। बहुत सुंदर जंगल है, जंगल भी है, ग्रासलैंड्स भी है, काफ़ी सुंदर जगह है। मुझे आप सब कभी ना कभी वहाँ आएंगे, हम लोग वहाँ पे भी मिलेंगे। दिस इज़ माय इनविटेशन टू ऑल ऑफ यू। तो इस लैंडस्केप में कीस्टोन फाउंडेशन, हम एक एनजीओ है, गए 30 साल से काम कर रहे हैं, और हमारे कुछ करीब 11 या 12 फील्ड सेंटर्स हैं। तो ये फील्ड सेंटर्स, बिकॉज ये पहाड़ 2000 मीटर ऊंचाई तक जाती है, तो 6000 से लेके 2000 मीटर ऊंचाई, तो इसमें काफ़ी डिफरेंट लैंडस्केप्स है, डिफरेंट बायोम्स है, डिफरेंट वेजिटेशन है, और वही हिसाब से एटलीस्ट 30 डिफरेंट कल्चरल ग्रुप्स, 30 डिफरेंट लैंग्वेज ग्रुप्स, आदिवासी ग्रुप्स, एसटी कहेंगे, पीवीटीजी है, सब मिलते हैं इस लैंडस्केप में। और लोगों का जो जैसे यहाँ सेंट्रल और ईस्टर्न इंडिया में है, इतना मेजॉरिटी नहीं है, सिर्फ 1% से लेके 5% तक ही ये जो इंडिजिनस पीपल या आदिवासी लोगों का टोटल नंबर्स है। तो इट्स नॉट अ लार्ज नंबर, बट काफ़ी यूनिक कम्युनिटीज़ है, इंडिया में कहीं और नहीं मिलेंगे। तो यहाँ के लोग अधिकतर जंगल और ज़मीन पे डिपेंडेंट है। हमारे यहाँ काफ़ी चाय के बागान भी है, तो वेजेस के लिए भी जाते हैं वहाँ पे काम पे। लेकिन जंगल से जो है हमको काफ़ी शहद, मधु मिलती है, और क्या आंवला, हिरडा, ये सब जो यहाँ पे भी मिलता होगा, वो सब NTFP, नॉन टिम्बर फॉरेस्ट प्रोडक्ट्स काफ़ी मिलते हैं। और जिन लोगों के पास ज़मीन है, वो काफ़ी लोगों के पास नहीं है, जिनके पास है वो लोग ये मिलेट्स लगाते हैं। वो एक ट्रेडिशनल, बहुत ही सुंदर सिस्टम, हाईली साइंटिफिक सिस्टम ऑफ सीड प्रेजर्वेशन, मैनेजिंग द लैंड, वो एक नेचुरल साइकिल के साथ उन लोग कैसे करते हैं। तो कुछ लैंड उन लोग मिलेट्स के लिए रखते हैं, बाकी जो लैंड है उसमें चाय के पेड़ भी होते हैं और कॉफ़ी के भी पेड़ होते हैं। तो ऐसा हमारा सफ़र, जब 30 साल से हम लोग काम करते आए, कुछ पहले से हमने ये एंटरप्राइज डेवलपमेंट में काफ़ी एम्फेसिस दिया था। और तो पहले हमारा होता था कि हम कैसे कंज्यूमर को अवेयरनेस बिल्ड करें, तो कैसे एक मार्केटिंग पे हम लोग ने ज़्यादा ध्यान दिया था। तो उसमें से हमारा एक प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी है, लास्ट फॉरेस्ट एंटरप्राइजेस करके। तो लास्ट फॉरेस्ट एंटरप्राइजेस का शॉप्स भी है, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशंस भी है। और फिर उसके बाद तो ये लास्ट फॉरेस्ट एंटरप्राइजेस इज़ द मार्केटिंग पार्ट, बट गाँव में वैल्यू एडिशन सेंटर्स काफ़ी खुले थे, काफ़ी वैल्यू एडिशन सेंटर्स हम लोगों ने स्टार्ट किया। इसी से ये जो 11 लैंडस्केप है वो भी वही वैल्यू एडिशन सेंटर से भी आया था। तो इस सब जो वैल्यू एडिशन सेंटर में काम कर रहे हैं, ये सब मिलके एक प्रोड्यूसर कंपनी हमने स्टार्ट किया 2013 में। तो लास्ट फॉरेस्ट जो मार्केटिंग कंपनी है वो 2009 में हमने रजिस्टर किया था, 2009 में, और 2013 में हमारे प्रोड्यूसर कंपनी में करीब 2000 फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर्स इसके शेयर होल्डर्स हैं। तो ये हुआ हमारा लास्ट फॉरेस्ट विच इज़ द मार्केटिंग। Adi Malai, which is the brand of the producer company. ठीक है, तो अभी मैं आपके सामने कुछ प्रोडक्ट्स रखा है. आई नो दैट आप लोग अभी से पढ़ लिया, बट थोड़ा अगर आप ये प्रोडक्ट पे ध्यान देंगे और फिर हम लोग एक छोटा सा एक गेम करते हैं, तो आपको लगना होगा. तो हम इस तरफ मेरी जो लेफ्ट साइड पे रूरल मार्केट या लोकल मार्केट, यहाँ थोड़ा सा राइट साइड पे मेरे राइट से थोड़ा सा अर्बन मार्केट या और थोड़ा सा दूर वाला मार्केट. तो आपके सामने जो प्रोडक्ट रखा हुआ है उसको अगर आप थोड़ा ध्यान से वो पढ़ ले, उसका लेबल प्रोडक्ट, फिर आप सोचिए और आप यहाँ रख सकते हैं. आपको अगर लगता है कि ये ब्रांड रूरल या लोकल के लिए अच्छा रहेगा और ये ब्रांड सिटी या अर्बन लोगों के लिए अच्छा रहेगा, तो वो हिसाब से आपको उठ के आके यहाँ रखना होगा. Is that clear? So I would like you to look and read the labels and make a sort of judgment. Do you think this fits for a rural, local consumer or for an urban or far away consumer? Okay, आपके हिसाब से. आइए, very good, congratulations. मुझे लगता है आपने लेबल भी पढ़ लिया होगा. ठीक है जी, बीच भी रख सकते हैं या किसी लेफ्ट साइड इज द रूरल एंड राइट साइड इज द अर्बन. यू कैन ऑल्सो कीप इट इन द मिडल. अगर आपको लगता है ये दोनों के लिए हो सकता है तो आप सेंटर में भी रख सकते हैं. मुझे अब मैं लेबल्स के बारे में कुछ क्वेश्चंस भी पूछूंगी. हो गया, सब प्रोडक्ट्स आ गए थे. तो फिर अगर आप हमारा ये जो नाम देखेंगे मार्केटिंग कंपनी का, लास्ट फॉरेस्ट, हिंदी में कैसे बोलेंगे? अंतिम जंगल. हाँ, आखिरी जंगल, आखिरी ना साउंड्स. वो सुन के आपको कुछ कैसे लगता है? दुख हुआ, सैड हुआ. हाँ, तो हाँ, कुछ लोग पूछते हैं ये आखिरी जंगल है, इसके बाद फिर इसको बचाने के काम करना चाहिए, क्यों इसको बेचते हैं ना, ऐसे भी सोच सकते हैं ना. तो इसमें एक मैसेज है ना, इसमें कुछ ये सुन के आपको कुछ लगता है ना, इसके पीछे कुछ कहानी है, कुछ जानना चाहिए. फिर और एक बात है, जब भी ये सब मैंने एक बक्सा से निकाला तो उसमें ये है गिफ्ट फ्रॉम द नीलगिरीज, हम लोग लिखते हैं. हाँ, तो आई डोंट नो आप लोगों ने इस पे किसी ने ये देखा, वो इसके पीछे बहुत सारा लोगोज है. पे फॉर इकोसिस्टम सर्विस वाला लेबल किसी ने देखा? नहीं, आपने नहीं देखा? आपने देखा? कौन सी प्रोडक्ट में था सर? बीज वैक्स वाले में ना. हाँ हाँ, इसमें शायद ना. तो हाँ, तो इंटरेस्टिंगली मैं बस इतना बोलना चाह रही थी कि ये जो हम सोचते हैं कि लोकल के लिए क्या हो सकता है, अर्बन के लिए, इसमें भी एक एरिया के हिसाब से भी अलग परसेप्शन होता है. तो हमारे यहाँ देखो तो ये सब यहाँ आ जाएगा. हमारे यहाँ ये रूरल में आता है. ये भी रूरल. हाँ, ये सब हमारे लिए नहीं. मैंने इसमें गलत और ठीक की बात नहीं कर रही हूँ, बस ऐसा थोड़ा सा एक एरिया के हिसाब से भी जो परसेप्शन होता है, जो चाहते हैं, जो इंटरेस्ट है, वो अलग रहता है. बट मेन चीज़ें ये है कि अब एक ब्रांड, आपने शायद यहाँ 2 ब्रांड्स, आदि मलाई और लास्ट फॉरेस्ट सुना था ना. तो लास्ट फॉरेस्ट की कहानी ऐसा है कि ये जो हम मार्केटिंग स्टार्ट किया था, तो एक मार्केटिंग प्रोफेशनल ने हमको इस पे गाइड किया कि आप ऐसा नाम रख सकते हैं, ऐसे लेबलिंग, डिज़ाइनिंग, पैकेजिंग. और कुछ 10-15 साल के बाद हमने ये भी सोचा कि नाम बदलना चाहिए, क्या कुछ ब्रांड अपलिफ्ट करना है. बातें हो रही थी, बट तभी भी हमको लगा कि इस ब्रांड ने जो मार्केट कैप्चर किया उसमें अभी भी कहानी क्या बोले जारी है. तो इसलिए हमने ब्रांड का नाम नहीं चेंज किया। ये जो आदिमलई प्रोड्यूसर कंपनी का नाम चुना था, वो ऐसे वो जो प्रोड्यूसर ग्रुप्स मिले थे, हम लोग एक बड़ा सा बैठक रखा था, उसमें बातें हुई। तो मैंने कहा ना 30 लैंग्वेज ग्रुप्स, 30 आदिवासी कम्युनिटीज़, तो सब लोग आए थे बिकॉज बोले, उन लोग सब बोले कि ये हमारा कंपनी है। सब लोग आए और बातें हुई कि क्या नाम रखना चाहिए कंपनी को, कंपनी पे। तो इसमें काफ़ी डिस्कशंस हुआ। उसमें मुझे सबसे यूनिक क्या लगा कि उसमें एक कम्युनिटी ने ये नाम चूज़ किया, वो वहाँ की कोता कम्युनिटी। लेकिन वो लोग ना जंगल में जाते हैं ना एग्रीकल्चर करते हैं, उनका दोनों, तो एक्चुअली देखा जाए तो वो कंपनी में उनका शेयर नहीं है। बट उन्होंने जो नाम प्रपोज किया, बाकी सब लोगों ने उससे राज़ी हो गए, बोले कि ये नाम हम लेंगे। तो आई मीन इट वॉज एन इंटरेस्टिंग प्रोसेस, यू नो, देयर वाज नो डिस्कशन कि आप लोग इसमें कुछ करते नहीं हैं, फिर नाम क्यों हम आपके। आई थिंक वो जो सब लोग को ये समझ में आया कि ये सब हमारे नीलगिरी के हैं, तो फिर क्या होगा, किसी ने नाम दिया तो भी अगर प्रोडक्ट नहीं देगा। तो दिस वाज अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, हमको काफ़ी कुछ सीखने को मिला ये जो बैठक हुई थी। तो ये डिस्कशन ऑन नेम एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट। तो हाँ, इसकी इतनी मैं बात करने के लिए रखा था। और एक बात थी अभी, ये सब जो सेम प्रोडक्ट तो एक ही होता है। यहाँ इस सोप कहाँ है? हाँ, ये सोप, ये अगर आप देखेंगे तो ये भी एक सोप है जो मधुमक्खी का बीज वैक्स से बनता है। तो इसी सोप का ऐसे भी पैकिंग होता है। तो सेम है। तो इसमें साइज़ थोड़ा बड़ा है और इसका साइज़ कम है, लेकिन इसका है 80 रुपया का होगा और ये होगा कुछ 200 रुपया, इसमें नहीं लिखा लेकिन इतना होगा। हाँ, तो क्वांटिटी इज़ लेस but product is same, but the packaging is really what goes. So this is what, I don't know anything about marketing. मैं ecologist हूँ, मैं ये कुछ I don't know technically about it, but I'm part of the process, and but I know that this is how it's done and this is how it's sold, and this is what sells. Yeah. So ऐसा हम same product, because हमारा ये भी है मकसद कि जो लोकल बना रहे उन लोग सिर्फ बाहर किसी के लिए ना बनाए, अपने लिए भी बनाए, तो दे ऑल्सो यूज इट एंड दे कंज्यूम इट, सो वी आर एबल टू मार्केट इट डिफरेंटली. तो दिस इज माई लिटिल टॉक, एंड इफ देयर इज एनी क्वेश्चंस मे बी फॉर 2 or 3 minutes. Yes, अमृता जी.
अर्बन के लिए जब सेल करेंगे तो क्या वो हमारे प्रोडक्शन मिल्स में सब्सिडाइज करेगा मिलेट ही लोकल कंजम्पशन के लिए, क्योंकि कॉस्ट तो रहेगा ना प्रोसेसिंग का.
आई थिंक तो अगर आई थिंक that's definitely something which the production team and the marketing team can work together for costing, for discussing the economics of it. तो मैं ज़्यादा उसके पे बोल नहीं पाऊँगी. But I also wanted us to focus on the story of the labels and the fact that ये सब labeling में हम products के बारे में बोल रहे हैं, वो जगह से जहाँ ये products आ रहा है उसके बारे में हम लोग थोड़ा सा जितना भी एक लेबल में दे सकते हैं ज्ञान देते हैं. फिर ये जो कॉन्सेप्ट्स हमने इंट्रोड्यूस किया, वेदर इट्स फेयर ट्रेड या पार्टिसिपेटरी गारंटी सिस्टम्स, सर्टिफिकेशन सिस्टम्स विच आर नॉट expensive, which can be managed by communities, and ये जो हम अभी ला रहे हैं ये पेमेंट फॉर इकोसिस्टम सर्विस, इस पे हमने एक छोटा सा एक एक्सपेरिमेंट भी किया था. वह शहद, अभी देखिए यहाँ पे एक शहद का बॉटल है ना, ये शहद का बॉटल हमने एक प्राइस पे वहाँ रखा काउंटर पे, और उसका सेम बॉटल हमने 50 रुपया एक्स्ट्रा लगा के वही दुकान में एक अलग सा टेबल पे रखा एज एन एक्सपेरिमेंट, एज अ रिसर्च. और उस टेबल पे जहाँ 50 रुपया ज़्यादा रखा था, हमने पोस्टर्स और इन्फॉर्मेशन रखे कि ये जो 50 रुपया एक्स्ट्रा आप ये बॉटल पे दोगे उससे हम लोग ये काम करने वाले हैं, कुछ नर्सरी नेटिव स्पीशीज नर्सरी करेंगे, बी बॉक्सेस करेंगे, कुछ 5 आइटम बोले थे। तो देयर वाज एक्चुअली एन इंटरेस्ट फ्रॉम द कंज्यूमर कि वो जब उनको पता चला कि ये होने वाला है, देयर वाज एक्चुअली quite a bit of uptake to the idea and interest. So I just wanted to reiterate, I think the story behind is really important, and that's something we should learn to tell very powerfully and regularly. This is also something that we learned in that.
और मेरा प्रश्न शायद स्टोरी और उससे ही जुड़ा है कि क्या आपने जब लॉन्च किया था एक या दोनों ब्रांड, ऐसी स्टोरीज रिलेटेड ब्रांड्स ऑलरेडी थी कि आप फर्स्ट मूवर थे? क्योंकि मेरे को लगता है वो भी एक बहुत डिफरेंस है हमारे यहाँ, कि यहाँ पे अगर 15 और प्रोडक्ट्स ऐसे हो रहे होते तो वो कंज्यूमर भी एजुकेटेड होता कि स्टोरी वाला प्रोडक्ट होता है।
I know it is a challenge because ये जब लास्ट फॉरेस्ट हम लोग स्टार्ट किए थे 1993 से, तो तभी this was an absolutely new initiative जो शहद जो लेते हैं वो हनी हंटर्स के बारे में, वो लैंडस्केप के बारे में, तो that was a new effort. But I know that lot of products with stories are out there, so it's a different ecosystem we're operating in it. But I still think it's important to keep telling the story, and to tell the story. Not अभी क्या होता है कि लास्ट फॉरेस्ट में जो काम कर रहे हैं वो लोग स्टोरी नहीं बोलना चाहिए, जो काम कर रहे हैं उनकी लाइफ में क्या इससे क्या मतलब निकला, क्या चेंज निकला, अगर ये लोग भी बात करने लगेंगे कंज्यूमर्स, आई थिंक दैट्स अनदर लेवल ऑफ, बट आई थिंक दैट अवेयरनेस मस्ट बी देयर, बिकॉज काफ़ी हम लोग भी देखिए कभी एक जगह जाएंगे तो आपको लगता है कि उस जगह की कुछ चीज़ लेके जाए ना उस, और अगर आपको पता चलता है कि इसके पीछे डायरेक्ट इनकम किसी का हुआ है तो यू फील बेटर अबाउट इट, सो आई थिंक वी शुड कैपिटलाइज ऑन दैट।
वॉल्यूम कितना, इसका प्रोडक्शन वॉल्यूम कितना साल भर। दूसरा है कि कम्युनिटी का मार्केटिंग में क्या रोल है, उसको वो कैसे मैनेज करते हैं?
तो मैं जैसे मैं कह रही थी कि ये 11-12 लैंडस्केप्स है, तो इसके हिसाब पे भी होता है कि वो लैंडस्केप का कैचमेंट एरिया रिसोर्स कितना होता है, तो वो हिसाब से भी होता है, और वहाँ पे कम्युनिटी का भी विलिंगनेस, ऐसा नहीं कि हमारे लिए कर रहे हैं, इट्स एन एंटरप्राइज, लोन लेके इन लोग सब स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, तो इट्स टोटली एन एंटरप्राइज, तो इस पे वेरिएशन भी होता है। तो अभी आप देखेंगे तो शहद के मामले में तो हम लोग का 15 टन से ऊपर मार्केटिंग है लास्ट फॉरेस्ट में, बट अगर आप आदिमलय जैसा प्रोड्यूसर कंपनी देखोगे, वहाँ पे कोऑपरेटिव लैंप सोसाइटी जो कहते हैं उन लोग तो 10 आई मीन ऑलमोस्ट 500 to 1000 टन्स तक हनी में बल्क सेल्स करते हैं, सो इट ऑलवेज डिपेंड्स। तो हमारा जो मॉडल है इट इज़ रियली डिपेंडेंट ऑन कि वहाँ के लोग क्या करना चाहते हैं, उनका कैपेसिटी क्या है। कई सेंटर्स में सिर्फ 5 महिलाएं काम करते हैं, कई सेंटर्स में 30-40 महिलाएं काम करते हैं, तो एक एक लैंडस्केप पे डिपेंडेंट है, एक एक कम्युनिटी पे भी डिपेंडेंट है, कि ऐसा नहीं कि हमें इतना आई मीन हमारा कोई टारगेट नहीं है इसमें, वो लैंडस्केप का टारगेट उन्हीं लोग का सेटअप होता है।
कि मान लीजिए, मैं उदाहरण से प्रश्न को रखूंगा तो मुझे बताने में आसानी होगा। जैसे हम 1 एकड़ में कोदो कुटकी का उत्पादन करते हैं और उससे हमें 10,000 रुपये का मुनाफा होता है, लेकिन हमने ये पद्धति सीखा तो हमने 5 डिसमिल में कोदो कुटकी किया, 95 डिसमिल हमारा घट गया और उत्पादन हमें 15,000, मतलब प्रॉफिट हमको 15,000 होने लगा। तो एरिया घटा, मतलब क्षेत्रफल घटा, लेकिन आमदनी बढ़ गई। तो ये प्रैक्टिस जिस क्षेत्र में हो रहा है ब्रांड को लेकर के कि एक नई स्थापना हुई है, तो उधर क्या क्षेत्रफल भी बढ़ा या क्षेत्रफल घटा, या केवल लोगों की आय बढ़ी या उसके खर्चे भी बढ़ गए? तो उसको थोड़ा इस ब्रांड से जोड़ के, क्योंकि हम डेवलपमेंट को उस तरीके से भी अलग दृष्टि से भी देखते हैं, तो वो थोड़ा मैं समझना चाहूँगा। धन्यवाद।
हाँ, तो आपने जो प्रश्न पूछी है उसकी थोड़ा बहुत मैं समझ लिया, मैं मानती हूँ, तो मैं जो आंसर दूंगी उसके हिसाब से होगा। इसके पीछे बहुत सारे मेहनत है, आप ज़रूर समझते होंगे, बिकॉज ये जो भी मैं दिखा रही हूँ ये 30 साल का काम है। तो ऐसा नहीं कि हम कल या मैंने टाइम लगता है। और एक बात है कि देर आर टाइम्स व्हेन इट्स डिफ़िकल्ट टू स्टे इन द मार्केट, तब आपको रहना ही होगा। अगर आप दुकान बंद करोगे ना तो सब आपके बारे में भूल जाएंगे, फिर इसको पिकअप करना भी मुश्किल था। तो एक रहने स्टेइंग पावर काफ़ी रहा। तो जो भी अभी कोविड के टाइम पे भी देखा जाए तो काफ़ी मुश्किल थी ये सब चलाने में, लेकिन कुछ ना कुछ करके और ये कीस्टोन फाउंडेशन का बैकअप से हम इसको ज़िंदा रख रहे हैं। तो ऐसा भी है अभी, अगर आप सोचेंगे कि ऑफ कोर्स लोगों का ऐसा भी हुआ है कि आमदनी बढ़ गई है, तो उनको जो मिलना है 10,000 से अभी 15,000 ज़रूर मिल रहा होगा। लेकिन मैं ये नहीं कहूँगी कि अगर एक गांव में 100 लोग हैं तो 100 लोगों का भी हो गया है। शायद वो 100 लोग में जो 20 या 25 लोग इस कंपनी के से शामिल हैं, उनके इस आमदनी में चेंज हुआ होगा। अगली बात है कि ऑफ कोर्स और एक बात जो मुझे लगता है उस एरिया में है ना, वहाँ के लोकल कम्युनिटी दे आर वेरी प्राउड ऑफ देयर प्रोडक्ट्स। ये मानते हैं कि ये हमारे हैं, तो उनको सब जगह ये दिखाने में कि हमारे एरिया से ये हम बनाते हैं, उनके लिए एक it's a matter of pride. I've seen that. I've also seen local consumption increase. एक और कम्युनिटी है जो उनको एसटी स्टेटस नहीं है, लेकिन उनको जब भी उनका कोई भी पूजा पाठ रिचुअल्स करना होता है तो वो लोग हमेशा बोलते हैं नहीं, हम ग्रीन शॉप से ही सब सामान लेते हैं। उनके लिए जो कल्चरल प्रोडक्ट्स हैं इस सब में है, तो उन लोग आके तो लोकल यूज़ बढ़ता है। और एक बात थी कि पहले जब हम स्टार्ट किए थे, अभी भी हम लोग ऑलमोस्ट 70% ऑफ आवर प्रोडक्ट्स हम लोग नीलगिरीज में ही बेचते थे। हमको कहीं और नहीं जाना पड़ता था, बिकॉज पूरा इंडिया नीलगिरीज में आ जाता है ना ऊटी देखने, ऊटी फ्लावर शो। तो पूरा सब टूरिस्ट लोग जब वहाँ आ जाते हैं तो हमको कहीं और नहीं ले जाना पड़ता। तो दिस we are able to reach out to a large audience, a large consumer base. So these are some of the points that I hope I was close to what he asked. So what does it do for the community?
So first of all, let me thank Dr. Ruth and Mansi and Amrita and many others who are involved in convening this roundtable, and we are so pleased to be here. And we are here to share some of our experience in the context of working with indigenous communities in certain landscapes in Tamil Nadu, in Odisha, and so on. And we think that probably it's a sort of a co-learning process. We can learn from different stakeholders. I could see our Didis are here representing FPOs and some of the non-governmental organizations and research organizations from ICR, our colleague, and there are, there are other actors too. Probably, maybe private sector would be of very useful, but probably going forward, we can think about it. So I'm here, before I share our experience with some set of slides, I may take about 15 minutes to navigate through that. Before that, I just wanted to share with you one of the song that actually created 4 or 5 years back in the same landscape when we worked with an organization called ASA, Action for Social Advancement, and we implemented, kind of with ASA, with different settlements around Mandla and Dindori. So in that context, we have created a song which was sung by one of the popular, I don't know his name and all, a popular artist, it's from this place. So, Monga, Mansi, can you play that song? So I hope you have definitely enjoyed this one. And this was actually, I could not recollect the name of the person who sang this, but it was actually created as a part of dissemination activity to popularize the millet mission in this part of the country. Okay, so thank you one and all again. So in this particular session, I just wanted to share with you some thoughts related to landscape branding. I don't know, at what level of branding that we have been talking about. Probably when we discuss around this, probably we will land somewhere in terms of branding. It's a kind of process-based branding or community-driven branding or landscape-based branding and so on. So but we can arrive at somewhere at the end of the day. So maybe Mansi, you can to the slide. So probably after going through some set of slides, we can discuss around these areas as a different stakeholder group here representing farmer producer organization and other stakeholders are here. Probably not necessarily now itself, probably over the period of next 2 days, even after visiting some landscapes and activities around that, probably we need to look at these dimensions. Why the branding is needed? What is the purpose? And and the purpose is decided by whom? It's with the community or with a set of NGOs or NCCI, and who decides it and why it is needed? What is the core purpose of having that brand? Then also probably any brand, Dr. Anita also spoke about how that Lost Forest brand has come up. What is the driver? What is the key principles behind it? Why we are actually branding it? And when we come out with the brand, then what is the etymology of it? How it is actually originating it. Then based on what principles? It is based on the principles of nature, or based on the principles of indigenous communities, or kind of any history, or any kind of external actor driven. What are the principles in which the whole the value chain going to operate or being operated here? So the principle behind that, it could be one or two or three or combination of many, then that can construct it together as a brand. So also probably we can float it around. The discussion can go around that. Just to cite some example, to throw some thoughts on that. Probably I could see here, the ethnic community is one end of the dot. The other thing is that the natural farming, the default organic farming is another dot. The other aspect is that the collective that you are talking about, the farmer producer organization, the collectiveness. The third element could be, the ecology, the entire landscape and its etymology is something related to the connecting to its roots. So there are many possible that we can discuss and we can elicit in terms of principles around that. Then when we talk about branding, who is actually owning the brand? Who are the owners of the brand? Is it a farmer producer organization themselves? It is a collective of under one umbrella of NGO, or it's a unit of multiple organizations coming together for a common cause, and they are anchoring this brand. And how that operates, how that will be nurtured and supported by government and other actors and so on. Then also, when we move towards that, when we talk about branding, lot of capacity building and support system enabling factors are needed, either from the government for finance or infrastructure or support system or sustainability. So what is the measure? How that can come? And what is the timeline of bringing that brand? It is not just tomorrow someone is announcing it, and how what is its actually the longevity of the brand it's going to be, and who are the actors going to come. So these are the critical areas. And then of course kind of a statutory mechanism, the legal mechanism to govern the brand. These are the essentials, key essentials, probably at the outset, end of these 2 days, probably as a collectively we can come out a kind of a charter plan for next time of action. If we can bring out, then that would be very good. So I think there are some slides after this. Maybe he will translate this essence, and then I will run through set of slides. I will not deep dive into it, but I will run through that. Maybe I may take another 15 minutes or so to run through it. Then we'll have a kind of a discussion with the stakeholders here. So when we talk about, I'm placing it directly to the context of neglected and underutilized crops of the country in general, but very specific focus here, the kodo and kutki. I understand there are many other rain-fed crops are there, but let us focus on the kodo and kutki, because that is most difficult compared to many other crops, because looking at the support system that we have, the kodo kutki is a kind of a strategic crop that we are taking it for a discussion today. So if we look at, we all agree, many of them also spoke about it. I spoke to some of your colleagues from Reliance Foundation, some of them, they are here in the space. They might have gone through this kind of a supply chain or B value chain approach. These approaches must be there. So when we talk about, I'm trying to link it with the principles. So when we talk about NUS, neglected and underutilized crops, the conservation comes first. We need to conserve this variety, the farmer's variety, and which is connected to their food culture, connected to adaptation, connected to their profitability. These are the three dimensions. Of course, compared to profitability and productivity and profitability, when we deal with the ethnic landscape, indigenous community landscape, the conservation and resilience and conservation and adaptation comes first. So when we brand, when we think of branding something, are we taking that conservation as a critical factor? Because many contexts, when we talk about productivity and profitability, sometimes it will have a negative impact on the core conservation. So this is a discussion point. We can definitely leave it for the audience to come out with. So what we do is that conservation is a critical. In our branding, conservation is a critical because farmers saved seed system, and retention of that seed with the farming community is a key. So then we address the difficulty of farm family, particularly women. When we talk about this one, we all know right from the beginning, particularly after the harvesting, lot of work, almost like 70% of the work is done by women. So the difficulty in farm, in terms of processing and making them is usable by the household. In that aspect of post-harvest processing is another area. So then the brand can have an element of women and that drudgery. Can that be a kind of integrate into a branding? So when we talk about labeling and branding, can this be an element? This is another principle, equity or gender participation, particularly women participation in branding. Can we have that element? The third aspect is that kind of technology. When I talk about technology, it is appropriate technology for tribal household and the rural household, tribal clusters. From that angle, what kind of appropriate technology is being used to determine quality. And she was talking about quality and profiling, nutrition and labeling, all that stuff. So the brand can also talk about the technology around that. Then ultimately we come out with the branding of it. So the branding, when we come out with the branding, then whether it represent a kind of a landscape level or at the community level or at the ethnic level or in terms of any other enabling factor. For example, we are talking about collectives. Nowadays, we are talking about FPOs as a kind of, then there is a link between the federal government and the state government and the local. So how this can be constructed together. So that is also a kind of point where we have a buy-in from the state. So how we are not actually, there is no trade-off here. We are having a balanced approach. Involving ethnic community and also appropriate technology and then buy-in from the state actors. So that is how there are brands wherever we work, with the constituency partner across the country, particularly in the milletscape, we are trying to pitch this idea of make it more inclusive branding kind of a sort of a thing. We can move to the next one. So when we think of holistic value chain, when we talk about holistic value chain, we talk about integratedness. For example, from seed to market, it is not addressing one aspect of the value chain. So that's the approach. So we really, in our context, we start with the farmers, particularly women farmers. We call them as a custodian farmers. They keep farm safe seeds. For example, Mahila, they are the champion of the farmer producer organization or the federation. So they are the one, we call them as a custodian farmer. They keep farmers variety on farm. So we try to identify them and interact with them, talk about the traditional knowledge related to seed or seed conservation and its barrier related to the struggles related to that, and then talk of understanding the seed saving as well as sharing mechanism, how they do within that community, and what is the kind of decline that happens, and what is the kind of need they want. So that kind of a transition. We can move to the next slide. So the other aspect is that then we move toward a kind of a sort of a federation, because we believe that everything starts with seed. The product and the brand will not come. It starts with seed, so we federate them. And eventually they become a federation or a farmer producer organization. Depends on that. We can move to the next slide. Then also, if there are possible, then in different context, the custodian farmers, they have their own seed. Yesterday also, in this landscape we have witnessed, many of them, they say they don't have common facility, common seed bank. They have the farm saved seed, either inside the home, or they have the method of actually saving the seeds. In many places we could witness that. So they are the custodian farmers, they are the keepers. Next one. And then wherever possible, if there is a scarcity, if there is a steep decline of diversity or availability of seed, some context, they also, if there is a need, then also they eat seed. No, they will not actually keep the seed. In that context, we also build a community seed bank. So therefore, the women group, most cases women group, men participation is very less in that kind of activity. So the community seed bank is also placed. And many places what we have witnessed, if places like Odisha, where the millet mission is happening, some point in time, the purpose of community seed bank no longer needed, because it is more prevalent. The seed and the grain available in the context of millet is available with everyone. So there is no need for the seed bank in such context, but it's a sort of a travel. 15 years back, there is a steep decline, then it is encouraged, then farmer, they share the seed, then some point in time, there is no need for such seed bank also, we have witnessed. Can you move to the next one? So the other aspect is, after the harvest, this is in the case of finger millet, of course. Even we all know between kodo, kutki, finger, different millets, there are nuances. There are process differentiations are there. So mostly in the tribal landscape, they do not have proper facility for threshing or cleaning, pre-cleaning process and so on. So this is a sort of a bottleneck our community is also facing. Probably some of these communities here also having the same bottlenecks. If you can move to the next one. And you see the different kinds of processing. Here in case of kodo, people are using kind of wooden based kind of chakki that they actually use it. But in case of other ragi in Tamil Nadu and other part, mostly the stone based of that is being used. So very often they say that when the choice of crop, when it comes to a choice of crop, the key determinant is that the drudgery and the time which is used, which is consumed by the processing. So that is the bottleneck. We can move to the next one. Again, different kinds of this picture depicting that. It's sort of a 6 or 7 different levels of processing, 100% exclusively done by women involved. So therefore they say unless otherwise there are bottlenecks are removed in terms of pre-cleaning and processing, we may not be able to continue. So this is a scenario. The next slide will tell us that introduction of appropriate mission. I just wanted to spend some time here. So when we talk about technology, I think in my opinion, it's a process of, we are in 2025 or so. I think this intervention began way back in 90s onwards. I think even before that, but more or less late 80s and 90s onwards, people started talking about this. Now we have different kinds of version. Even before that, there are people in Nasik, they have come out with the cone polisher. But at the ground level, there are interventions. Now we have different versions that can cater at the individual level, at the community level, at the cluster level, or at the block level. There are different versions are there. But however, what we see is that, for whom we are doing this value chain, the branding, what we are talking about, for whom, at what level. We are talking about the indigenous communities and small cluster level, or at the village level, or at the kind of convening that we have, assuming that the different organizations, they may be having n number of FPOs. Will it be going to, this branding is going to support kind of amalgamation of many efforts, and then we are coming out with that. So that aspect is also very important. Why I am saying this, that it is also connected to the quality. It is also connected to the standards that it is going to set. So that aspect is also part of the branding that we are really talking about. If it is about, for a small, FPO based branding, then it is related to ecology. It is related to that particular kind of a context. So if you are talking about a branding of the landscape level, it is a multi-actor involvement, multiple actor involvement. So then what kind of a processing facility eventually we will have? It will be decentralized one, or it will be a centralized one, and who will be managing it? And in one case it would be FPO, in some case it could be NGO based, in some case it would be individual entrepreneur based. How this is going to work? That is also probably we need to really think around that. Then accordingly, the facility that we are talking about. So in our context, what we have done is that for the small scale holders in the tribal landscape, so they will cater only the settlement level for processing and aiding to local level consumption. So in that level, because mobility is too difficult for them from one place to other place, even farmer, they don't go. So at the cluster level, 2 or 3 settlements will be there. Each settlement around 40 to 50 household will be there. So 3 settlements nearby, 2 to 3 kilometers away, so they can come to a point where they can process it and they can take it back for self-consumption. At that level, it works. The kind of effort that we are taking leading to local consumption, targeting for children, targeting for adulthood, targeting for elders. So when we are talking about branding, the kind of a product that we imagine, and it is for the local consumption and for different age groups, or this is actually aiding for external supply. This is a fact. So many times this is also very important. The farmer's variety and the local recipe and the validation and creating a product and the brand labeling and moves to the market. So that is also a kind of innovative model. Definitely we can think about it. So if there are certain recipes very unique to Mandala and Dindori or any particular landscape, which is of a recipe that can be studied and integrated as a part of a value chain. We are talking about biscuits, we are talking about cookies, we are talking about noodles, we are talking about many other brands, or we are talking about malt. Different versions are there. Already is there, the knowledge is there in the public domain. So, but what is unique here? What is the edge here? That is most important when we are talking about branding. So, the question over here is that whether at the NCCA level or at the individual FPO level, NGO level, have we deep dive into the system related to the recipe? So is there a documentation is done? if at all, then is there a need for such intervention, and see that in the in the public domain there are knowledge about recipes and so on. So what is unique to Mandla and Dindori? So how that can be built into a branding. So that is another element. So in case of this is one example what we have done. This is a ragi kali. In Tamil we call it. It's a sort of a liquid version of the ragi that they created. It's a pure ragi made of that. Then we can move to the next one. Then and also process documentation. There is a storytelling page on the web. Probably you can use it. I will tell you that this thing, it is also in the global page. It's a process of doing how to make that recipe. That is also a process as a part of a labeling, and the link can be given and the people can read also to create interest among the consumers. Then the next one, create interest among the stakeholder, particularly the women group. And then the discussion point happens. What kind of recipe you wanted to valorize it, what you wanted to promote it. Then from there, we move to the next level of the product development. So then you saw that the first slide related to ragi kali, ragi version. Then they wanted to go for ragi, malt. So they didn't know how to make the ragi malt. Then with the NIN, we have conducted the nutrition profiling, what is advised, what can go as a part of a combination. We also worked with the CFTRI, Center for Food Technology Research Institute. Then we worked with them, and we come out with the combination of that. So the combination is like ragi 70% and 20% of green gram and 10% of wheat. That's the combination and the process that is followed. So the women group, they started actually learning about it, and then that has become the product that is welcomed in the mainstream market. Because if they would have taken the ragi kali, the same version, the other communities, mainstream communities may not be appealing. So there is a version is needed to convert that, make it. So I'm putting in this context, what is possible with the Kodo in that way. So I will also talk about the second part of my presentation is related to the work we have done in the same landscape. I will connect with that little later. Angle also helped in this process when we do this. It created interest among the group. So that, one part is the learning, and then they have started using at the household, and some of them, they have started their own enterprise, at their own investments. So there are many offshoot benefits also happens when we co-create certain kind of branding aspect of it that really helps. We can move to the next one. And the shop that in the tribal belt, we having tested with different opportunities, market opportunities. We tried in, I think, 98, 99 with the food world. Food world is one of the famous supply chain in the down south, probably in the north also. We tried out, we thought that, this can be easily taken by the urban consumer. But always, there is a bottleneck in terms of compliances, in terms of time, retention, payback arrangement, all that. That didn't work. Despite several efforts, that didn't work. We also tried out with different consumer, for example, health practitioners, also with sports practitioners, and also those who are, street vendors, push cart vendors, different kinds of model, what can work for which products and so on. So I think, but what really works at that level in terms of tribal settlement is that processing happens, labeling happens, branding happens, and within the vicinity of that hub, I'm talking about a hub of 10 settlements. And if there is a facility for the transportation, and there is a set of people often visits like a tourist for agro-tourism or eco-tourism sort of a thing, if there is opportunity, then this kind of a small shops, that really helps for women. So labeling with Kolligil's natural food. And along with millets, there are other products also. That really, when we talk about the scale, when we talk about sustainability, it is millet alone, kodo and kutki alone may not be helping them. So what are the other possibility? So when the actors, the women or the key actors in that sale entrepreneurship, they are taught with a package of what they can convey to the audiences, the consumers. In terms of, they can talk about the principles behind the labeling, where it is originated and how it is prepared and who is involved. And this is also part of the kind of training and capacity building of the group with whom actually we work. So they care, it is not just a branding, they also need to talk about the branding that we do. Next one, Mansi. Yeah, then the federation. Over a period of time, we also federated at the block level because they are dealing with, it's a hilly area, around 250 square kilometer area. We work with 5,000 farmers now, more than that. And each ecology, sub-ecologies, they have their own products. Millet is also part of the product, along with pepper, right from pepper to ragi. If I say this, it's a high value crop. And in terms of market, it's a low value crop. So, but the federation is dealing with all crops. And the federation purposefully named as a Agrobiodiversity Conservers Federation. So it is instilled in their mind that they need to be keen on conservation and agrobiodiversity conservation. So the federation, they talk about the diversity and the sustainable use and the benefit sharing model, they will talk about it. So yeah, that is it, and we can move to the next one. Yeah, so I will not deal with this. I spoke all that. These are the best practices as a part of an integrated value chain that we are dealing with, right from seed. Always we value seed conservation is a critical when we talk about this kind of a landscape. Farmers saved seed and the processes that we followed, and what is the kind of a market we are really targeting is all about to have a sustainability. So okay, so I'm told we are winding up by 1 o'clock. We have another 30 minutes. I will take another 10 minutes to run through. Then we will have 20 minutes of mapping exercise. We will keep it as for the flow for next 2 days. We will have charts here, and people whoever is around, they can come and then we'll have a summary session some point in time tomorrow. We will discuss about that. So we will keep it like that. So we will not get into mapping today itself. It will be a kind of ongoing activity, a process activity. Yeah. So we can move, Mansi, we can move with the slide. I will just run through quickly, taking another 10 minutes time. In this landscape, in Mandla and Dindori, with ASA, we have done some work. We can move forward. And we all know about the landscape, and I need not tell about that. We can move. And we also witnessed there are many farmers variety. I'm not going to read that. We all know there are certain farmers variety. Talk about branding. Are we considering? I'm raising only questions. Are we considering farmers variety, or it's an inclusive of improved variety that is coming from Ekrip Dindori? There is we have the KVK and so on. They have released many varieties. So one edge is that we can talk about farmers variety and its valorization, or we can talk about Kodo Kutki is a holistic way we can talk about it. That is one angle. Next one. And we all know, we have conducted some gender mapping, gender role in millet landscapes, and you only see the pictures. There are we can move then. You see the people are using chakki and so on, and the women participation is high. But a couple of days before, when I visited, 5 years later, the intervention that has happened, we understood that the men members, they are handling it. The original purpose is that that is also another factor. As a collectively, we need to really think about it, how the women empowerment in the whole process that can be promoted. So when there was a project there, it was targeted for women. After all that done, down the years, 5 years later, when we go and visit there, it's in the hands of men. So either elite capture or men captured by men. So what is the purpose? We need to really question the purpose, why we have done, and why it is not retained. There are certain factors must be there, but that is a serious concern that is also very critical. We can move. And kind of a processing, hand pounding processing of Kodo and Kutki that you see. And if you look at the chart, many of them are, the post-farm processes, on-farm processes, men they take care. But in terms of processing related to pre-cleaning, processing, cooking, and serving, all that done by women in case of Kodo and Kutki. Next one. Yeah, that you see here. And also, interestingly, we all know perception of men and women taking their claim also differ. That is what we could found. Then we can move down. This is related to, I'm talking about 2015 case. You must be having a lot of stories of new popping up different kinds of machines and versions in this region. And this is a guy, Radhe Shyam Chawla. And I'm talking about 2013, 14, 15 time. We looked at different kinds of processing facility in this region. And he had this one. This is a kind, Dr. Ruth, this is a kind of a version that we saw in Tamil Nadu. It's a very kind of a traditional version of machine. He converted the paddy hulling thing into a Kodo and Kutki. That he has done it. Then we can move. And this is a sort of a supply chain. I don't know, probably this audience can tell us still the same kind of supply chain we have. So it starts with farmers and it goes to village sandy and grocery shops, and from there the middleman takes up and it goes to mandi, either in Mandla or Dindori, then it goes to Nasik. And there are some small interventions here and there, and there actually people are, it could be NGO based or it could be FPO based operations were there. Mansi, we can move to the next one. Also, we conducted a sort of survey as a part of value chain. This is from Sapura Mandi. Most of the grains goes to this sort of a mandi or a grocery shop. The Purana grocery shop, actually they buy it and they have the chain, from there it goes. Then and also there is the Agriculture Marketing Association. It's called Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee. They play a phenomenal role. They have a very good direct connect with the Nasik. So that is the way the entire supply chain was actually organized. Next one. And the transportation, we have also studied the transportation difficulty, and wherein we need to talk about the quality aspect of it. In the Metona aspect, we found at the household level, at the mandi level, at the transportation. In these three levels, there are possibility of actually getting these grains wet, and then subsequently get contaminated when it moves up in the value chain. Many of the theory that we hear from the public, it is from Nasik. The Nasik holders actually, they used to say about Metona lot. And the product, the produce come out of that, it is infected with a lot of contamination. And they have to segregate or they have to clean it up and they have to get into the value chain. So at three levels, at the farm gate and also the mandi gate, and also during the transportation this happens. So probably that is the areas we need to discuss separately. Okay, the next one. So this is MIDC in Nasik as a part of that study that we have conducted. So it is about 250 mills are there, and it is a very powerful lobby based system, and they are pulling the grains from this particular landscape. So when we talk about the value chain, I'll move to the next one. And this is a kind of a cone polisher they have, and this is a kind of a 7 process value chain, process grading and cleaning and processing. Then we get the white grain, whatever the grain that we get as a bugger. It's a mix of many grains, not only kodo and barnyard and many other grains, even kutki also. That is also mixed up, and then they make a product named called bugger. Is a what is that? A fasting food, and it is available in the market. Next one. Okay, I will come to the branding. So in 2015, when we conducted this study, these are the brands already there in the name of kodo and kutki, and there are so many, and it is floating in the market. So the question here is that then when we are talking about branding and how we are going to place it, so it should be based on principle based, some etymology, some roots. Based on that, it has to come out. And in what way it is different from the existing brands of kodo and kutki, and how it is unique, how it is novel, how it is ethnic, how it is local, and why it is need to be branded newly. So this is also very important. Wherever we see in the belt of Maharashtra and some part of the upward, from Rajasthan and other part, it's a bugger, being a bugger food. There is a history also, and this is being used. Next one. And you see some of the popular brands. You can move, Mansi. Double Dolphin is a very popular in some part of the Maharashtra. And this is Upwas Paratha Atta. There are, but they have, what we have found is that these brands never talk about where it is originating. That is the edge we have to pick up. So these existing brands don't talk about the product, where it is coming from whom it is coming from, or is a collective or a village or a landscape or a ethnic community or kind of processing. Nothing is there. So that is the area probably we can pick up as a part of these processes. And they have carefully done, in the up-end value chain, they have carefully done quality control, nutrition profiling, MRP, all that stuff they have done it, which is required for the market. But in terms of labeling aspect of it, they have not done much. Probably something might have come, some efforts were there. So I think Ajivika, this was a Reliance effort. That time they have done, even in they had the office here in Mandla region, and they came out with the Kodo. Then the brand was Ajivika millets. Then and Kanha millets also there. Kanha millets, Kutki, it was there. I don't know whether that is still it is floating around here. We do not know, but these are all that we have actually seen it. And Mandla, in Mandla there is a marketing agency is there. So they had some outlet out of the initiative of National Nutrition Mission. They had a program. The program had a counter there. So some initiatives were there to talk about it, even for nutritional aspects of a millet. Next one. And then, this is of course, Tejaswini project, one of the project, very popular one at some point in time. We do not know what is the current status of it. So we had processing facility, some scientific assessment of the whole chain process. They have also supplied to the local meal program, noon meal program also. So this is also part of that at that particular point in time. Next one. Yeah. This is the Tejaswini Kutki product. They have labeling and branding and all. And if you look at it, this particular piece of information talks about women empowerment. There are some work related to this local level labeling started. People have started working on that. So this is Tejaswini one. We can move to the next one. And this is another interesting thing. Egecon, I don't know, probably would have. Yeah, this is sort of they were attempting to look at the origin of the crop. Which farmer, it's a labeling basically. The farmer and the crop, and then linking that crop with the value chain. Sort of a labeling kind of effort they have taken up as a part of this. And we can move. And this is another Dirki, this is initiative of ASA, because as a part of that initiative, they have come out with this labeling. Talks about why millet from that, the kind of angle that we are talking about. It is a small initiative. I think later on, there are several bottlenecks. Again, I just wanted to park here. There are several efforts, small and medium level organizations, they are taking it. But in terms of longevity, in terms of continuity and sustainability, some point in time, they have a lot of blocks. I think, in my opinion, NCCI as a platform to really see that how this can have a longer, kind of a support system and vision plan. So that is the area probably we need to really think about it. Next one. Yeah, that's all. There may be a couple of slides. Yeah, so this is what they have initiated, ASA. Instead of the middleman and that particular value chain, it was from here to a farmer producer company, and then again, they could not do value added products. Again, they aggregated it farmer producer company replaced the mandi, they aggregated it and they have sold to Nasik directly. So they get the margin because ASA wanted to help for larger number of farm families. If someone goes for a value addition, then they can only support for limited number of farm families. So they have taken that pathway to support larger number of farm families. So the commission and all that has been cut, so that has been given back to the local community. So yeah, the farmer producer company played a role, no denial on that, but initiative of this kind, sustaining it in long run is a great challenge, and we need to have that kind of support system. And the last couple of days visit to Mageshmadi Farmer Producer Company with people, we found that the machine is in use. But what they have done is that the FPO, they have actually rented out to an individual entrepreneur. The entrepreneur, they tool all that material. The person comes and then process it, and they have their own brand and they are selling it. And the commission is given to the farmer producer company. So these are all models, evolving model, they themselves, because they have to decide what is the value proposition of that initiative. Then next one. Yeah, then next one, please. Yeah, I'm ending here. So I stop here. Probably I just placed this before for pondering around this, what we are actually aiming about, and where are we now, and for whom we are talking about this branding, and how this branding can happen collectively, or should it be happening for a community, or a cluster of particular ethnic community, or at the NCCA level, what they should act upon, and how these critical actors, they can come together. Today we don't have a private actor. Tomorrow if the private actor comes there, then what would be the negotiating point with them? So these are the aspects probably we can discuss around for today and tomorrow. Even on the table or off the table we can discuss. And we will have some sort of a chart. Maybe we can have the headers, principles, practice, all the 5, 6, 7 charts we can keep it. Each one, based on their, perception, we can place our thoughts, then we can synergize it together and we can connect the dots and we can come out with something. Thank you.